Have you ever felt like life is pushing you to your limits? That no matter how hard you try, you just can't seem to overcome the challenges you face? When everything feels like it's falling apart, how do you stay strong? Life is full of unexpected twists, moments that test our strength and willpower. But what if you could learn to not only survive these tests but grow stronger because of them? Imagine this. You're faced with a major setback at work, a personal struggle, or a relationship challenge. In those moments of doubt and pain, what do? Do you let the storm break you, or do you rise above it with unshakable strength? This video is going to help you understand how to build that strength, so when life tests you, you're ready to face it head-on. Welcome to Wisdom Woven, where we bring you life-changing insights drawn from Buddhism to help you build resilience in the face of adversity. Today, we will explore how to tap into your inner strength and stay strong even when life feels overwhelming. Trust us, this journey is worth it. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribe. So please, like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel to be part of this incredible community and never miss out on valuable wisdom. Now, let's dive in. It's time to discover the strength within you. When life challenges you, how will you respond? Will you remain grounded, focused, and resilient? Let's find out how. Understanding life's tests. The Buddhist perspective. Life, my friend, is full of tests. We often find ourselves on a path that is difficult, uncertain, and at times, overwhelming. In these moments, we ask ourselves, why is this happening to me? Or, what am I supposed to learn from this? The Buddhist perspective on life's tests teaches us something powerful. Everything we experience, whether it's joy, sorrow, success, or failure, is a part of a greater cycle of life. When you face challenges, it may feel like the world is against you. But in truth, the world is just showing you an opportunity to grow. Every moment, every obstacle, is a chance to deepen your understanding, your patience, and your inner strength. These tests are not here to break you. They are here to help you discover who you truly are. The Buddha, in his teachings, often spoke about the nature of suffering. He taught that suffering is a natural part of life, but that it is not something we need to fear. In fact, understanding suffering can lead us to greater wisdom. You see, life's challenges are not random or meaningless. They are part of a greater plan, a way for us to evolve as individuals and as human beings. It's through facing adversity that we truly learn who we are and what we are capable of. When life tests you, it's easy to focus on the pain, the frustration, and the desire for things to be different. But in these moments, the Buddha advises us to shift our perspective. Instead of resisting the challenge, we should embrace it. When we fight against the flow of life, we only create more suffering. But when we accept what is, we allow ourselves to learn from it. We let go of the need for control and open ourselves to the wisdom that the test holds for us. Think of a seed that is buried deep in the soil. It faces darkness, pressure, and the weight of the earth. But if the seed gives up at that moment, it will never grow into the beautiful plant it is meant to be. However, if it accepts its situation and pushes forward, it will eventually break through the surface, bask in the sunlight, and flourish. In the same way, you, too, are capable of growing through the difficulties that life brings. Life's tests, like the soil to the seed, may feel uncomfortable, but they are the very conditions you need to rise above. In Buddhism, we talk about the concept of impermanence. Everything in life is changing all the time. The good, the bad, the joyful, the painful, it all passes. Understanding this truth helps us deal with life's tests. When you are in the middle of a difficult moment, it may feel like the pain will never end. But remember, nothing lasts forever. Pain, just like pleasure, is temporary. This realization can bring comfort when things feel unbearable. By embracing impermanence, we can detach ourselves from the idea that things should always be a certain way. Life is always in motion, and so are we. The tests we face today may seem overwhelming, but they too will pass. It's important to stay grounded in the present moment, understanding that everything is a part of a natural flow. One of the most powerful tools Buddhism offers us in facing life's tests is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present, aware of your thoughts, feelings, and surroundings, without judgment. When a challenge arises, our first reaction is often to resist it. We wish it would go away, we fight it, or we try to avoid it. But mindfulness teaches us to simply observe what is happening without trying to change it. When you face a test in life, take a moment to pause. Breathe deeply. Instead of reacting immediately, observe your thoughts and emotions. What are you feeling right now? What is your mind telling you? By observing your experience, you create space between the challenge and your response. This space allows you to choose a more thoughtful, compassionate reaction, rather than being swept away by fear, anger, or frustration. In Buddhism, we also talk about the importance of non-attachment. Attachment is the source of much of our suffering. We become attached to people, things, and outcomes, believing that they are necessary for our happiness. But life's tests often challenge these attachments. When things don't go as planned, we feel upset, anxious, or defeated. But if we can learn to let go of attachment, we can face life's challenges with a sense of peace. Non-attachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means that you understand that everything is temporary. The people you love, the successes you enjoy, the possessions you value, they are all impermanent. When we hold on too tightly to these things, we create suffering. But when we let go and allow life to flow as it will, we open ourselves to true freedom. The Buddhist teachings remind us that we are not defined by our circumstances. Life may test us, but it cannot take away our inner peace. This peace is always within us, waiting to be discovered. Even in the most difficult times, you can find calmness within your heart. It's a matter of shifting your focus from the outer world to your inner world. When you center yourself, you find strength that cannot be shaken by external events. Remember, life is full of tests, but these tests are not meant to break you. They are meant to teach you, to help you grow. The key is to approach them with an open mind and an open heart. Instead of seeing challenges as obstacles, see them as opportunities to become a better version of yourself. Buddhism also teaches us about the importance of compassion. Compassion is not only for others, it is for yourself, too. When you are facing a test, it's easy to be hard on yourself. You may think, why am I not stronger? Or, why can't I handle this better? But self-compassion is a crucial part of building resilience. Instead of criticizing yourself, treat yourself with kindness. Remember, you are doing the best you can in the moment. When you face a challenge, be gentle with yourself. Allow yourself the space to feel what you're feeling. Don't rush through your emotions, and don't try to suppress them. By accepting your emotions and responding with compassion, you allow yourself to heal and grow. This is how you build strength, not by ignoring your feelings, but by acknowledging them and choosing to move forward with a compassionate heart. In this way, life's tests become less about struggling and more about learning. They become opportunities to deepen your understanding of yourself and the world around you. By embracing the teachings of Buddhism, you can find peace and strength in the midst of life's challenges. It's not about avoiding the tests, but about learning how to face them with grace, mindfulness, and resilience. So, when life tests you, remember this: you are not alone. You are part of a vast, interconnected world. Just like every other living being, you too have the strength to rise above your challenges. By practicing mindfulness, letting go of attachments, and cultivating compassion, you will discover a well of inner strength that will carry you through any storm. In the end, life's tests are not meant to break you. They are meant to reveal the true strength that already lies within you. The power of letting go, releasing attachments. When life tests you, one of the most important lessons you can learn is the power of letting go. At first, this may seem strange. How can letting go make you stronger? Isn't strength about holding on, fighting, and pushing through? Well, here is the paradox. True strength often comes from learning to release. Letting go does not mean giving up. It means releasing your tight grip on the things you cannot control. It is about understanding that you do not need to hold on to every thought, every emotion, or every person. Holding on to these things, whether they be material possessions, relationships, or past mistakes, can create unnecessary suffering. The Buddha taught that attachment is the root of all suffering. When we attach ourselves too strongly to anything, we create a bond that leads to pain. The tighter we hold on, the more we suffer when things change or slip away. Imagine that you are holding a cup. The cup is filled with water, and you grip it with all your might. The water inside is your emotions, your desires, your fears, and your expectations. Now, if you keep holding onto this cup too tightly, the water will spill over. The more you hold on, the more it slips away. But if you let go of the tight grip and hold the cup gently, you can carry it without the water spilling. This simple shift in how you hold the cup is like the shift in how you hold your life. In life, we often cling to things out of fear. We fear loss, we fear change, and we fear the unknown. But fear only chains us. It limits our ability to move forward and to grow. The first step toward releasing attachment is recognizing that we do not own anything in this life. Everything, whether it's people, possessions, or experiences, is temporary. Just as the seasons change, so too do the moments of our lives. And in this constant state of change, attachment creates unnecessary suffering. Buddhism teaches us that the path to freedom begins with acceptance. Acceptance of impermanence. Acceptance that nothing stays the same forever. When we learn to embrace the flow of life rather than resist it, we discover a peace that comes from within. We no longer fear the changes that life brings. We learn to welcome them, knowing that each change is an opportunity for growth. Letting go is not always easy. We may have deep attachments to certain people or situations, and the idea of releasing them may feel painful. But this pain is part of the process. It is like the pain of a tree shedding its old leaves. The shedding is necessary for the tree to grow new, stronger leaves. So too is letting go necessary for us to grow into stronger, wiser beings. Think about your own life. What are you holding on to right now? Perhaps it's a past hurt, a mistake you made, or a relationship that no longer serves you. It may even be something material, like a possession or an achievement you cling to for your sense of self-worth. Whatever it is, ask yourself, what would happen if I let go of this? What would it feel like to release the weight that I've been carrying? Letting go means accepting that we cannot control everything. This doesn't mean we stop caring. It means we care without attachment. We can love someone without needing them to stay forever. We can work toward a goal without being fixated on the outcome. We can enjoy life's blessings without becoming dependent on them for our happiness. By releasing attachment, we create space for true freedom. Freedom from the fear of loss, freedom from the need for control, and freedom to simply be. When you learn to let go, you'll find that life flows more smoothly. You stop fighting against the current, and instead, you allow yourself to be carried by it. You no longer hold on to the past, and you open yourself up to the future. The present moment becomes your place of strength. There's a Buddhist teaching called the middle way, which speaks to the balance between attachment and detachment. It is not about giving up everything or becoming indifferent. It's about finding a healthy balance where you can appreciate and enjoy the things of this world without becoming so attached that you lose yourself in them. It's about loving fully, living fully, and then letting go when it's time. One powerful way to practice letting go is through meditation. Meditation helps us become aware of our thoughts and feelings without becoming attached to them. When a thought arises, we don't try to force it away or hold on to it. Instead, we simply observe it and let it pass. This practice trains the mind to let go of attachment in everyday life. The more you practice letting go in meditation, the easier it becomes to let go in real life. Another way to practice releasing attachment is by reflecting on the impermanence of life. Take a moment to think about everything that has come and gone in your life. The people you've met, the places you've been, the experiences you've had. All of these things are temporary. Yet, in their impermanence, they have shaped who you are today. By accepting impermanence, you begin to understand that it's not the things themselves that matter, but the lessons and growth they bring. Letting go also means trusting the process of life. It means believing that you are where you are supposed to be, even if things don't make sense in the moment. Life is not a straight path, but a winding journey with many twists and turns. Sometimes, letting go means surrendering to this journey, trusting that you will arrive where you need to be, when you need to be there. In Buddhism, letting go is closely tied to the concept of mindfulness. Mindfulness teaches us to be present in each moment without clinging to it or pushing it away. It's about accepting things as they are, without judgment or attachment. The more mindful we become, the easier it is to let go, because we stop identifying with our thoughts and emotions. We simply experience them, and then allow them to fade away. When life tests you, letting go is one of the most powerful tools you can have. It frees you from unnecessary suffering and allows you to experience life with clarity and peace. By releasing attachment, you create space for true happiness to enter. You stop holding on to the things that weigh you down, and you make room for the things that lift you up. This process of letting go is ongoing. It is not something you do once and forget about. Every day, life will present you with new things to release. Some things will be easy to let go of, while others may take time. But with practice, you'll find that letting go becomes second nature. And with each release, you will feel lighter, freer, and stronger. So, remember this. Letting go is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength. It is the strength to release what no longer serves you, to trust in the flow of life, and to embrace the unknown with an open heart. The more you let go, the more you will find that life's tests become opportunities for growth. And in this growth, you will discover a strength you never knew you had. The calm in the storm, mastering emotional balance. Life has a way of testing us, doesn't it? Sometimes, the winds of life blow so fiercely that it feels impossible to stay grounded. The challenges, the emotions, the uncertainties, they come at you like a storm. But what if, in the midst of this storm, you could find calm? What if you could remain unaffected by the turbulence around you? In Buddhism, we learn that our inner peace is not something dependent on external circumstances. It's something we cultivate from within, something that remains steady, no matter how strong the winds may blow. Imagine you are standing in the middle of a fierce storm. The rain is pouring, the wind is howling, and everything around you feels chaotic. But within you, there is peace. There is stillness. You are not afraid of the storm, because you know that it is temporary. You understand that no matter how loud the thunder is, or how hard the rain falls, it will eventually pass. This is the power of emotional balance. Buddhism teaches us that emotions are like waves in the ocean. They rise, they fall, and they pass. Our task is not to control the waves, but to learn how to surf them. The more we fight our emotions, the stronger they become. But when we accept them for what they are and allow them to flow through us, we find peace. This is emotional balance, learning to be at peace with whatever arises without letting it sweep us away. One of the most powerful practices in Buddhism is mindfulness. Mindfulness teaches us to observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment, without attachment. When we practice mindfulness, we become aware of the present moment, and we stop letting our emotions control us. Instead of reacting to a situation out of fear or anger, we pause and simply observe. We recognize that our emotions do not define us. They are just passing experiences. And when we realize this, we can choose how we respond, rather than being swept away by our feelings. Let's take an example. Imagine you're facing a difficult conversation with someone you care about. You feel a wave of anger rising within you, and your first instinct is to lash out. But instead of reacting immediately, you take a deep breath and notice the anger. You don't judge it. You don't try to push it away. You simply observe it, and in doing so, you create space between your emotion and your reaction. In that space, you find the power to respond calmly, with kindness, rather than reacting from a place of anger. This is the essence of emotional balance, creating space between stimulus and response. It's not about suppressing your emotions or pretending they don't exist. It's about acknowledging them, understanding them, and choosing how to respond. It's about remembering that you are not your emotions. You are the observer of your emotions, the one who has the power to decide how to act. In moments of stress or anger, it's easy to lose ourselves in the emotion. We might snap at others, say things we don't mean, or let our emotions take over. But with practice, we can learn to pause before reacting. We can learn to breathe, to observe, and to respond with clarity. This takes time and effort, but it's worth it. When we master our emotions, we no longer let them control us. Instead, we become the master of our emotions. Another powerful tool for emotional balance is the practice of equanimity. Equanimity is the ability to remain calm and undisturbed in the face of life's ups and downs. It's the ability to stay balanced, no matter what happens. Equanimity is not indifference. It's not about shutting off your emotions or pretending nothing affects you. It's about maintaining a sense of peace and stability, no matter how turbulent life becomes. To cultivate equanimity, we must first recognize that life is unpredictable. People will disappoint us, circumstances will change, and challenges will arise. But instead of resisting or complaining about these changes, we accept them as part of the natural flow of life. We recognize that nothing in life is permanent. Good times and bad times alike will come and go. And when we accept this, we can let go of our attachment to specific outcomes and find peace in the present moment. Equanimity also involves embracing the idea of non-attachment. In Buddhism, attachment is seen as one of the main causes of suffering. When we become attached to things, whether it's a particular outcome, a relationship, or an emotion, we set ourselves up for disappointment. Life is always changing, and if we cling too tightly to something, we will eventually experience the pain of losing it. But when we let go of attachment, we free ourselves from this cycle of suffering. We learn to enjoy life as it is, without needing it to be any different. We learn to embrace the present moment fully, without being attached to any particular result. You see, life is not about controlling every outcome or avoiding every difficulty. Life is about learning to navigate the storms with grace and resilience. It's about finding balance in the chaos and remaining anchored in the truth that you have the strength to face whatever comes your way. One way to practice emotional balance is through meditation. Meditation helps to quiet the mind, allowing us to connect with our true selves, the calm, peaceful center that exists within each of us. When we meditate, we create space between our thoughts and our emotions. We learn to observe our inner world without getting caught up in it. Over time, meditation trains the mind to remain calm, even in the face of life's challenges. It teaches us to focus on the present moment, rather than getting lost in worries about the future or regrets about the past. Another important practice is cultivating loving kindness, or metta. Loving kindness is the practice of sending love and goodwill to ourselves and others. When we cultivate loving kindness, we begin to see the world through the eyes of compassion. We understand that everyone is struggling in their own way, and we choose to respond with kindness, rather than judgment. This practice helps to soften our hearts and brings a sense of peace and balance into our lives. In the end, emotional balance is not about never feeling upset, angry, or sad. It's about learning to experience those emotions without letting them control you. It's about finding the space between stimulus and response, and choosing to respond with calm, clarity, and compassion. It's about embracing the full range of human emotions while remaining rooted in your inner peace. So, when life tests you, remember this. You have the power to remain calm, no matter how strong the storm may be. With practice, you can learn to navigate life's challenges with grace and wisdom. And in doing so, you will discover a strength within you that you never knew existed. The role of patience, perseverance through challenges. Life, as it moves, is never without its struggles. We each face challenges that test our strength, our patience, and our resolve. There are moments when we feel as though time is standing still, as though the road ahead is too long, too difficult. But in those moments, the greatest power we can hold is patience. It is in patience that we find the strength to persevere, to endure, and to ultimately rise above the trials that life sends our way. The Zen master knows that patience is not a passive state of waiting. It is an active force. It is the quiet power within you that helps you weather the storms of life without being broken. When the wind howls and the rain falls heavily, a Zen master does not resist. Instead, they accept the moment fully. They trust that everything, including their pain and difficulty, is a part of the natural flow of life. In this acceptance, they find peace. Think about a seed planted in the soil. It does not grow overnight. For days, months, or even years, it remains in the darkness, under the surface, until one day it pushes through the earth and reaches for the sun. The seed does not question the process. It simply trusts. It knows that time, though slow, is necessary for growth. And so it waits. In this waiting, it is not idle. It is gathering the strength to one day break free and flourish. In the same way, when you face a challenge, patience allows you to gather your strength, to grow, to prepare for the moment when you will rise. This does not mean that you should simply wait without action. Patience in Buddhism is not about sitting idly by. It is the quiet awareness that all things take time, that everything has its season, and that nothing lasts forever. This awareness allows you to persevere through the hardest times because you trust that this, too, shall pass. Consider the great Buddhist teachings on impermanence. Everything changes. Every moment, every feeling, every circumstance is temporary. The pain you feel today will not last forever. The hardship you face will eventually give way to peace. In this understanding, patience is not merely an act of waiting. It is an act of faith. Faith that, even when things seem difficult or impossible, everything is unfolding as it should. It is a belief that the universe, or life itself, is working with you, not against you. The Zen master does not rush through life. They do not force things to happen according to their own timing. Instead, they trust in the natural rhythm of existence. They understand that the flower blooms when it is ready, not when it is commanded. Patience, then, is an act of trust, a trust in the timing of the universe, and a trust in your own ability to endure. When life tests you, it is tempting to want quick solutions, to rush through the pain, to push your way to the other side. But this is not the way of the Zen master. They understand that there is wisdom in the struggle, that the process itself is where the lessons are found. Each challenge, each difficulty, is an opportunity to grow in patience, to deepen your understanding of yourself and the world around you. And so, instead of fighting against the present moment, the Zen master embraces it fully, knowing that, in time, it will pass. Patience also teaches us how to live in harmony with the present moment. It helps us let go of our attachment to the past and our anxiety about the future. We live only in the here and now, trusting that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. This awareness brings peace, because we are no longer caught in the endless cycle of wanting things to be different. We accept the present as it is, knowing that, in time, all things change. In your own life, when faced with a challenge, take a moment to breathe. Slow down. Do not rush to fix the problem. Do not try to control the outcome. Instead, simply allow yourself to experience the moment. Feel the discomfort, but do not identify with it. Recognize that you are not your pain, not your difficulty. You are the observer, the one who has the power to decide how to respond. Patience allows you to choose wisely, to respond with calm and clarity rather than with fear or frustration. Sometimes, patience can feel like a test of its own. We may wonder why things aren't changing, why the universe seems to be moving so slowly. But remember that just like the seed in the soil, we too are growing, even if we cannot see the changes right away. In fact, it is often only after we have gone through a period of struggle that we look back and see how much we have learned, how much we have grown. The Zen master teaches that every moment, even the hardest ones, are opportunities for growth. Patience allows you to fully experience that growth, to understand it in its deepest form. There will always be moments when life feels difficult. There will always be days when you question whether you can go on. But in these moments, patience reminds you that you have everything you need within you to persevere. You do not need to rush or force things to happen. Trust that everything will unfold in its own time. Trust that you are exactly where you need to be. In this trust, you will find the strength to keep going. And so, when life tests you, do not be afraid. Do not resist the challenges. Instead, embrace them with patience, knowing that they are not obstacles, but opportunities. Opportunities to grow, to learn, and to become the person you are meant to be. In patience, you will find the peace you seek, the strength you need, and the wisdom to carry on through any storm. Remember, the path of patience is not always easy. It requires discipline, awareness, and the ability to stay present even when the world seems to be moving too fast. But it is through this very discipline that we discover our true strength. The Zen master shows us that when we allow ourselves to be patient, when we trust in the process of life, we open ourselves to a deeper level of wisdom and understanding. So, the next time life tests you, take a deep breath. Embrace the challenge. Allow yourself to grow through it. In the end, you will find that patience is not just a way to endure. It is a way to transform, embracing impermanence, accepting life's transience. In the flow of life, nothing stays the same. Everything we see, feel, and experience is constantly changing. You, me, the world. It's all in motion. But why do we struggle so much with change? Why do we resist when life shifts, as it inevitably will? Buddhism teaches us that change is the very nature of existence. Nothing in this world is permanent. Everything, even the most beautiful or painful moments, is temporary. This is known as impermanence, a simple yet profound truth. Accepting impermanence isn't about being passive or resigning ourselves to loss. It's about understanding that change is part of life, and it's out of our control. By accepting this truth, we can stop fighting against the current and learn to flow with it. Imagine you're holding a glass of water. The glass is full, and you feel its weight. But after some time, the water level begins to drop. It's natural, right? You don't fight it. You don't shout at the glass or try to hold the water in place. Instead, you allow it to flow. This is how we must approach life. The more we try to hold on to moments, whether they are good or bad, the more we suffer. But when we let go and embrace change, we find peace. When life tests us, it's often because we're attached to something, an idea, a relationship, a job, a way of life. We want things to stay the same, but this attachment creates suffering. As Buddha said, the root of all suffering is attachment. When we let go of our attachment to how things should be, we free ourselves from unnecessary pain. It doesn't mean we stop caring or become indifferent. On the contrary, we learn to appreciate things more deeply, knowing that they are precious because they won't last forever. This doesn't mean that we shouldn't plan or try to improve our lives. It simply means that we need to live with the awareness that things can change at any time. When we embrace impermanence, we become less fearful of the unknown. Life becomes less of a burden because we understand that every phase, whether joyful or difficult, is only temporary. Now, think about your struggles. Maybe you're facing a tough time in your career or a difficult period in a relationship. Maybe you've lost something dear to you. It hurts, doesn't it? But remember, this too shall pass. The pain, the worry, the frustration, it won't last forever. This moment, as hard as it feels, is only temporary. By embracing impermanence, you can find relief in knowing that change is on the horizon, even if you don't know what that change looks like. This awareness helps us to appreciate the present moment more fully. When we stop clinging to things as if they are permanent, we can enjoy them more deeply. We stop worrying about what might happen tomorrow or regretting what happened yesterday. We learn to be present, right here, right now. It's like standing in front of a beautiful sunset. The colors are rich, the sky is painted with shades of orange and pink. You could spend the entire moment in awe, knowing that this beauty is fleeting. As the sun sinks below the horizon, you might feel a slight sadness, but it's a peaceful kind of sadness. It's the understanding that the moment was beautiful because it was temporary. You savor the moment without clinging to it. Likewise, in the midst of hardship, remember, this too is temporary. Whether you're feeling sad, angry, or overwhelmed, these feelings are passing. Just like a storm that eventually clears, your emotions will settle. The challenge, then, is to let the storm pass without getting swept away by it. Stay grounded, stay present. Trust that the clouds will part and the sun will shine again. In Buddhism, there's a concept called dukkha, which refers to the suffering we experience when we resist change. We fight against the reality of impermanence, and that resistance creates more pain. But when we learn to accept change, when we make peace with the fact that nothing stays the same, we experience less suffering. There's a story from Buddhist teachings that illustrates this beautifully. It's about a farmer who lost his horse. His neighbors came to comfort him, saying, "Oh, what bad luck." But the farmer replied, "Maybe." Later, his horse returned, bringing with it several wild horses. The neighbors then said, "What good luck?" And again, the farmer said, "Maybe." The farmer's son tried to ride one of the wild horses, but fell and broke his leg. The neighbors again expressed sympathy, saying, "What bad luck?" To which the farmer replied, "Maybe." Sometime later, the king's army came through the village, recruiting young men to fight in a war. Because the farmer's son had a broken leg, he was spared. The neighbors said, "What good luck?" And once more, the farmer responded, "Maybe." The story teaches us that we can never know for certain what the future holds. Life is full of ups and downs, and it's impossible to judge a situation as good or bad in the moment. What seems like a misfortune today could turn out to be a blessing tomorrow. And what feels like a blessing today could become a challenge in the future. This is the nature of impermanence. So, how do we embrace impermanence in our daily lives? First, we start by becoming more aware of the things we are attached to. What are you holding on to so tightly that it's causing you pain? Is it a person, a job, an expectation, or even an idea about who you should be? Once we identify these attachments, we can begin to let go. Not in a forceful way, but in a gentle, accepting way. We let go not because we don't care, but because we trust that life will unfold as it should. Living with the awareness of impermanence also means we begin to appreciate the small, everyday moments. We start to savor the simple things, knowing that they too are fleeting. A conversation with a loved one, the sound of rain falling, the warmth of the sun on your skin. These are all temporary moments that deserve our full attention and gratitude. The more we practice acceptance of change, the more we learn to flow with life rather than against it. Instead of clinging to the past or worrying about the future, we embrace the present moment as it is. And in doing so, we find peace. Not because life is perfect, but because we have learned to let go of our need for things to stay the same. When life tests you, remember, everything is temporary. The challenges you face today will pass. The pain, the fear, the uncertainty, they won't last forever. And when they do pass, you'll be stronger for it. You'll have learned to accept change, to embrace impermanence, and to find peace in the ever-changing flow of life. The wisdom of suffering, transforming pain into growth. In life, suffering is something we cannot avoid. It comes in many forms: physical pain, emotional turmoil, or the weight of loss. But as a Zen master, I tell you, suffering is not the enemy. In fact, suffering can be your greatest teacher. It is through suffering that we find the opportunity to grow, to learn, and to awaken to our true selves. Many people try to escape pain. They try to numb it, run away from it, or deny its existence. But in doing so, they miss the true power of suffering. Like a tree that grows stronger by bending in the wind, our spirits can become more resilient through the challenges we face. The key is not to avoid suffering, but to embrace it with an open heart and mind. You see, when you face pain, there are two choices. You can allow it to break you, to make you bitter and resentful. Or you can choose to see it as a lesson, a way to deepen your understanding of yourself and the world around you. This is the wisdom of suffering, the ability to transform pain into wisdom, to turn hardship into strength. Buddhism teaches us that suffering is an inherent part of life. It is called dukkha in the Buddhist teachings. But dukkha is not something to fear. It is simply a part of the cycle of life, something that everyone experiences. The Buddha himself did not shy away from suffering. He faced it directly, and through that experience, he gained profound wisdom. This wisdom is available to all of us, if we choose to look at suffering with the eyes of compassion and understanding. When you are in the midst of suffering, take a moment to pause. Instead of reacting with anger or fear, take a deep breath and ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Often, suffering reveals our attachments and desires, the things we cling to most tightly in life. Perhaps you are holding on to a relationship, a job, or an ideal of who you think you should be. Suffering comes to show you that these attachments cannot bring lasting happiness. The key to true peace is letting go of these attachments, not by force, but with gentle acceptance. Consider the lotus flower. It grows in muddy waters, yet it rises above the surface, untouched by the muck below. This is the image of the Buddhist teaching on suffering. Just as the lotus grows through the mud, we too can grow through our pain. The mud is part of the process. Without it, the lotus would not bloom. Similarly, without suffering, we would not have the opportunity to awaken to the depth of our being. When you experience suffering, take a moment to observe it. How does it feel in your body? What thoughts come to mind? Don't judge or criticize yourself for having these feelings. Just observe. This simple act of mindfulness can transform the way you relate to pain. Instead of running from it, you can become present with it, embracing it as a part of your human experience. Suffering also teaches us the importance of impermanence. In Buddhism, We learn that everything is constantly changing. No pain, no matter how intense, lasts forever. By understanding that suffering is temporary, we can find comfort in knowing that it will pass. The key is to not become attached to the pain or to wish it away. Instead, accept it as it is and know that it will transform with time. In your moments of suffering, remember that you are not alone. Every living being experiences pain. Suffering is a universal experience. And just as others have faced their own struggles, you too have the strength to overcome yours. This is the beauty of the human spirit. We are all connected in our shared experiences. When you suffer, you tap into the deeper truth that we are all part of the same human family. In this way, your suffering can open your heart to compassion for others, just as their suffering can awaken compassion in you. Now, let's consider the power of acceptance. Often, when we face suffering, our first instinct is to resist it. We want it to go away, and we will do anything to avoid it. But resistance only prolongs the pain. Acceptance, on the other hand, brings peace. When you accept your suffering, you stop fighting it. You make peace with it, and in that peace, transformation begins. This is the essence of mindfulness, being present with whatever arises, without judgment. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation. It doesn't mean you stop trying to change your circumstances or improve your life. It simply means that you stop fighting the present moment. You stop wishing things were different, and instead, you accept things as they are. This shift in perspective is incredibly powerful. It opens you up to new possibilities, new ways of seeing the world, and new ways of responding to pain. Another important aspect of transforming suffering is gratitude. It may seem strange to be grateful for pain, but in the Buddhist tradition, we are encouraged to see the beauty in all things, even in hardship. When you are suffering, ask yourself, what can I be grateful for in this moment? Perhaps it is the lesson you are learning. Maybe it is the support of a loved one. Or perhaps it is the opportunity to grow stronger in the face of adversity. Gratitude shifts your perspective from one of victimhood to one of empowerment. Suffering also teaches us humility. When we are faced with pain, we are reminded of our vulnerability. We realize that we are not invincible and that life is unpredictable. This humility allows us to approach life with more compassion, not only for others, but for ourselves. We are all imperfect beings, doing our best to navigate the challenges that come our way. When we embrace our vulnerability, we open ourselves to the wisdom that suffering has to offer. As you move through life, you will inevitably face more suffering. It is a part of the human experience. But each time you face it, you have the opportunity to transform it. You have the power to turn your pain into wisdom, your hardship into strength. You can choose to see suffering not as a curse, but as a gift, an opportunity to awaken to your true nature. Remember, you are like the lotus flower, rising above the mud. The challenges you face will not define you. What defines you is how you respond to those challenges. Will you allow suffering to break you, or will you allow it to transform you into someone wiser, stronger, and more compassionate? The choice is yours. And with each challenge you face, you have the opportunity to grow into the person you are meant to be. Mind over matter. Building mental fortitude. When life tests you, it is not the physical challenges that break you, but the mental ones. The mind is a powerful tool, one that can either hold you back or propel you forward. It can shape your reality in ways that we may not always realize. The true challenge of life is not the external circumstances, but how you respond to them within your mind. It is your mental fortitude that will determine how you endure, overcome, and rise above any test life places in your path. Imagine a tree standing in the middle of a storm. The wind howls, the rain pours, and the tree bends with every gust. The storm is powerful, and yet the tree remains standing. What allows it to endure? The strength of its roots. Deep below the surface, the roots hold it firmly in place, no matter how fiercely the storm rages above. Our minds are like these roots. In moments of difficulty, the strength of your mind can hold you steady, even when everything else around you seems to be falling apart. The Buddha taught that the mind is everything. What you think, you become. The quality of your thoughts directly shapes the quality of your life. When faced with challenges, it is easy to fall into patterns of negative thinking. You may begin to doubt your abilities, to worry about the future, or to fear the unknown. These thoughts, while natural, can overwhelm you if left unchecked. But just as the storm passes, so too can these thoughts. You have the power to let them go. The key is to recognize them and choose not to let them control you. Building mental fortitude starts with awareness. The first step is recognizing when your mind is clouded with negativity. It is easy to get swept up in feelings of frustration or fear, but the Zen practice teaches us to observe these emotions without judgment. Simply notice them, without identifying with them. When a negative thought arises, do not fight it, but simply acknowledge it and let it pass. Just as clouds move across the sky, so do your thoughts. They are temporary, and they do not define you. Mindfulness is a powerful tool in cultivating mental strength. In Buddhism, mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment. When you are mindful, you are not dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. You are simply observing what is happening right now. This practice allows you to separate yourself from your thoughts and emotions. Instead of being controlled by them, you become an observer. This separation is key to building mental fortitude. When you observe your thoughts without attachment, you gain the ability to choose how to respond. Let us consider the concept of impermanence. Everything in life is constantly changing, and this includes your thoughts and emotions. In moments of struggle, it may feel as though the challenges you face will never end. You may feel trapped in a cycle of negative thinking, unable to see a way out. But just as the seasons change, so do the thoughts and feelings that cloud your mind. The discomfort you feel in a moment of hardship is temporary. With time, the storm will pass. This realization is liberating. It reminds you that you are not your struggles, and that you have the power to rise above them. The next step in building mental strength is acceptance. Life will always present challenges. You cannot control the external events that come your way, but you can control how you respond to them. Acceptance does not mean resignation or giving up. It means acknowledging the reality of the situation and choosing to move forward with grace. The Buddha taught that suffering is an inevitable part of life, but it is how we choose to meet that suffering that makes all the difference. Instead of resisting hardship, we can accept it as part of the journey and use it as an opportunity for growth. When you accept the challenges in your life, you stop fighting against them. You stop wasting energy on resistance, and instead focus on how you can navigate the situation with wisdom and compassion. Acceptance allows you to free yourself from the burden of stress and anxiety. It creates space for peace, even in the most difficult circumstances. Mental fortitude is also built through self-compassion. When life gets tough, it is easy to be hard on yourself. You may feel that you should be stronger, that you should be able to handle everything without breaking down. But the truth is, you are human. You are not perfect, and that is okay. The Zen practice teaches us to treat ourselves with the same compassion we would offer to a friend. When you face hardship, be gentle with yourself. Allow yourself to feel what you are feeling without judgment. Recognize that it is okay to struggle, and that your vulnerability does not make you weak. Self-compassion is not about avoiding discomfort, but about facing it with kindness. It is about acknowledging your pain without allowing it to define you. When you are kind to yourself, you create a space where healing can occur. Mental fortitude is not about being invulnerable, but about being resilient. It is about bouncing back from adversity, not by denying your emotions, but by embracing them with compassion. In addition to mindfulness and acceptance, another important aspect of building mental strength is cultivating a positive mindset. While it is important to acknowledge the challenges you face, it is equally important to focus on the solutions, not just the problems. Positive thinking does not mean ignoring the difficulties in life, but rather approaching them with the belief that you have the strength to overcome them. The Buddha taught that our minds are like a garden. What we plant in that garden, we will harvest. If we plant seeds of negativity, doubt, and fear, we will reap a harvest of despair. But if we plant seeds of hope, faith, and determination, we will grow a garden of resilience. One way to cultivate a positive mindset is to practice gratitude. In times of hardship, it can be easy to focus only on what is wrong. But if you take a moment to reflect on the things you are grateful for, you will shift your focus away from the negative. Gratitude reminds you of the many blessings in your life, no matter how small they may seem. It helps you maintain perspective, even in the face of adversity. When you are grateful, you are less likely to be consumed by negativity. You are more likely to find the strength to keep going. Finally, mental fortitude is built through action. It is not enough to simply think positively or accept challenges. You must also take action in the face of adversity. Action helps you to regain a sense of control and purpose, even when life feels overwhelming. When you take small steps forward, no matter how difficult, you build momentum. Each step you take strengthens your resolve and builds your confidence. Even when the path ahead seems uncertain, action gives you the courage to move forward. Building mental strength is not a quick process. It takes time, patience, and practice. But just as a muscle grows stronger with repeated use, so too does your mind. The more you practice mindfulness, acceptance, and positive thinking, the stronger your mental fortitude will become. With each challenge you face, you will become more resilient, more capable of handling whatever life throws your way. When life tests you, remember that your mind is your greatest ally. It is not the external circumstances that will determine your success, but your ability to stay grounded, to remain calm, and to take action with clarity and purpose. By building mental strength, you become like the tree in the storm, standing tall and unwavering, no matter how fierce the winds may blow. Rebuilding after the storm, lessons in renewal. In life, storms come without warning. They arrive as challenges, struggles, or moments of deep pain. But just as the sky clears after the rain, so too can our hearts and minds after life's trials. The key lies in how we rebuild after the storm is past. When a storm hits, it's easy to feel lost, confused, or defeated. We question why it happened and wonder if we will ever be the same again. But understand this: you are not meant to remain broken. Life's storms do not exist to destroy you. They are there to shape you, to help you grow, and to make you stronger. The process of rebuilding is not about returning to who you were, but about transforming into something greater. The first step in rebuilding is accepting the storm. Many times, we try to resist pain, challenges, or difficult emotions, thinking that they are something we should avoid. But in Buddhism, we are taught that resistance only prolongs suffering. Acceptance is the key to transformation. Accept that life is full of ups and downs, that pain is a part of the human experience, and that you have the strength to face it. When you accept a storm, you stop fighting it. You allow yourself to feel the emotions that come with it: sadness, fear, anger, but you do not let them control you. Instead, you become the observer, watching your emotions pass through you like clouds in the sky. This awareness is the beginning of healing. You start to realize that you are not defined by the storm, but by how you respond to it. Once you have accepted the storm, it's time to rebuild. Rebuilding begins with self-compassion. You must show kindness to yourself in these moments of struggle. You would never criticize a friend who is going through a hard time, so why criticize yourself? Give yourself permission to heal, to rest, and to take small steps toward renewal. Understand that healing does not happen overnight, and that is perfectly okay. The next step in rebuilding is finding meaning in the struggle. In Buddhism, we are taught that suffering is not meaningless. Every challenge, every storm, has the potential to teach us something valuable. Ask yourself, what have I learned from this experience? What has it taught me about my strength, my resilience, and my capacity for growth? Often, we can see the lessons only after the storm has passed, but the wisdom gained is priceless. This wisdom becomes the foundation for rebuilding. It gives you the clarity to move forward with purpose and confidence. The process of rebuilding also requires a shift in perspective. Instead of focusing on what was lost, focus on what can be gained. Every storm brings with it an opportunity for growth. Think of the bamboo that bends in the wind. It does not break. It adapts. When you learn to bend with life's challenges, you find that you are not as fragile as you once thought. Your resilience becomes a source of strength that you can carry with you for the rest of your life. Another important aspect of rebuilding is patience. In Buddhism, patience is considered a form of strength. It's easy to want quick results, especially after a difficult experience. But true healing takes time. Like the earth recovering after a storm, you too need time to heal, to gather your strength, and to grow. Be patient with yourself during this process. Trust that, just as nature heals itself in time, so too will you. During the rebuilding phase, It's also essential to take care of your physical and emotional well-being. Meditation and mindfulness can be incredibly helpful tools in this process. They allow you to reconnect with yourself, to quiet the mind, and to find peace within. When your mind is calm and centered, it becomes easier to see the path forward. You begin to understand that you have everything you need within you to rebuild and move forward. At the same time, it's important to surround yourself with supportive people. Rebuilding is not something you need to do alone. Seek the company of those who lift you up, who remind you of your worth, and who offer kindness and encouragement. This support system will help you heal and regain your strength. Sometimes, just knowing that someone is there for you can make all the difference. As you rebuild, take small steps. Don't rush the process. Every small action you take toward healing is progress. It may be as simple as getting out of bed in the morning, taking a walk in nature, or practicing a moment of mindfulness. These small actions, when done consistently, add up over time and create lasting change. Remember, the path to rebuilding is not about perfection, it's about progress. One of the most beautiful things about the process of rebuilding is that it allows you to rediscover your inner strength. After the storm, you realize just how much you are capable of. You may have thought that you were weak, that you could not handle the challenges life threw your way. But as you rebuild, you uncover the depths of your resilience, your ability to adapt, and your capacity for growth. This is the gift of rebuilding. It shows you just how strong you truly are. Lastly, as you rebuild, embrace the concept of impermanence. Everything in life changes, including you. Just as the storm passed, so too will this period of rebuilding. Nothing lasts forever, and that includes both pain and joy. This understanding brings peace, because you know that, in time, the storm will fade, and new growth will emerge in its place. In Buddhism, we are taught that life is a constant cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. This is not just a physical process, it is a spiritual one as well. Every storm you face is an opportunity for rebirth. You emerge from each challenge not as the same person, but as a new, stronger version of yourself. This is the essence of renewal, the ability to rise from the ashes, to start anew, and to keep moving forward with courage and hope. So, as you rebuild after life's storms, remember this: you are not broken. You are not defeated. You are in the process of becoming the best version of yourself. With patience, acceptance, and a clear mind, you will rebuild your life, stronger and more resilient than ever before. The storm may have tested you, but it has also prepared you for greater things ahead. Keep moving forward, for the best is yet to come. Your inner warrior, a call to courage and self-belief. Ah, dear one, you have traveled far on this journey of resilience. You have faced life's storms, felt its winds shake your soul, and yet here you stand, stronger, wiser, and more connected to the warrior within. This is the final part of our journey together, and it is here that we shall uncover the truth of your inner strength, the courage that lies deep within, waiting to be awakened. Let me ask you this: when was the last time you truly believed in yourself? Not because someone else told you to, but because you felt, in your heart, that you were enough? Life tests us not to break us, but to remind us of the strength we already carry. This strength is your inner warrior, a silent, steady force that never abandons you, even when the world feels heavy. Now, imagine yourself as a warrior standing tall on a battlefield. But this is not a battle against others. It is a battle within yourself. Your doubts, your fears, your insecurities, they are the shadows you must confront. But here's the truth: a warrior does not need to fight these shadows. Instead, they shine their inner light so brightly that the shadows disappear on their own. Buddhism teaches us that courage is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward despite it. When fear whispers, "You can't," the warrior within you rises and responds, "Watch me." Courage is not loud. It is quiet, steady, and unwavering. It is found in every small step you take toward becoming your best self, even when the road feels long and uncertain. Do you remember the times you thought you wouldn't make it, and yet you did? Those moments are proof that the warrior in you has always been present. You have faced heartbreak, failure, and pain, but you have not been defeated. You have risen time and again because you are far more powerful than you realize. The Buddha once said, No one saves us but ourselves. No one can and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path. These words remind us that while support from others is valuable, the true work lies within. The warrior within you does not wait for rescue. It takes charge of its own destiny. But a warrior is not without compassion. Compassion is what turns strength into something beautiful. It is what allows you to be kind to yourself even when you stumble. It is what lets you offer a helping hand to others, even when your own journey is hard. True strength lies not in overpowering others, but in lifting them up while remaining grounded yourself. To stay strong when life tests you, you must remember that struggles are not permanent. Like clouds in the sky, they pass. The pain you feel today will not last forever, but the lessons you learn from it will shape you into someone wiser and braver. The warrior in you knows this and trusts in the impermanence of all things. Take a moment to reflect. What does being strong mean to you? Is it about never falling, or is it about always getting back up? Strength is not about being unshaken by life's storms, but about bending with the wind and rising again when the calm returns. The warrior within you understands this truth. And now, as we come to the end of this journey, let me leave you with this thought. Your life is your battlefield, your canvas, your story. How will you paint it? How will you fight for it? The answers lie within you, waiting to be uncovered. The warrior within you is ready to rise. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% of viewers subscribe. If you found value in this journey, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Wisdom Woven. Together, let us continue to explore the wisdom that life offers and grow stronger with every step. This is not the end, dear one. It is the beginning of your own story of courage and self-belief. Take what you have learned and carry it forward. Life will continue to test you, but now you know. You have always been strong enough. You are the warrior. Rise and let your light shine.